Houston is a different place today than it would have been without Terry Hershey.
Terry Hershey was green long before green was cool. She truly is a force of nature.
President Bush called her a force of nature. I would rather call her a force for nature.
Terry Hershey has had an impact on the environment and those who care about the environment for almost 50 years.
What an amazing person she is. Warm and genuine. She's the most determined person I've ever known.
Her home has been a gathering point for conservationists really from all over the globe.
Because of Terry, her mentors, and the many that she inspired, Houston is a better place.
Of course, she's most known for her victory over Buffalo Bayou in the Corps of Engineers.
And people had the idea, they didn't mean to do wrong, nobody knows beans about hydrology.
President Bush was a freshman member of Congress at the time, and Terry convinced him that not only was it wasteful to spend millions of dollars channelizing Buffalo Bayou, but that it would destroy the character of one of Houston's loveliest natural assets.
I've learned over the years something about fluvial geomorphology. Now, I didn't start out knowing it. I'm a philosophy major, and I had some common sense, and I looked at a river and said, that's a horrible thing to do to it. May I add, that was the reaction to Congressman George Bush when he looked at the plan to channelize Buffalo Bayou. He said, what a terrible thing to do to a river.
Ultimately, Buffalo Bayou was saved, and the victory was won with the 1970 passage of the National Environmental Policy Act.
But I think the lesson is larger than that, because Terry taught us that we could do anything together if we had the drive and determination and the incredible tenacity that she has to get these things done.
Terry has been involved in every environmental organization in Houston, and she started many of them. Park People, Citizens Who Care, Citizens Environmental Coalition. She has also served on dozens of local and national boards. Buffalo Bayou Preservation Association, Houston Audubon Society, National Recreation and Park Association, Trust for Public Land, and the list goes on.
You will still be able to access dedicated funds.
It was Terry's affinity for parks that led Governor Ann Richards to appoint her to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission in 1991.
You go to the park and walk around, and you come back with an emotional experience, and maybe you're not quite as frantic as you were before you went out with the trees and the birds.
She brought to that board an emphasis on parks which had not been there before, and it was sadly lacking.
But her legacy on the commission went well beyond parks. She was an early champion of trails and a then little-used private land conservation tool called a conservation easement.
She is the person who founded the whole conservation easement ethic within Parks and Wildlife and created the Texas Land Trust Council.
Her tenure was not without controversy. During her very first commission meeting, her trademark candor caused her and the governor some grief.
The first meeting that she attended was the spring meeting in which we used to consider the wildlife regulations, the bag limits and the seasons and those kind of things. And it went on and on and on all day long.
And Terry said something like, if y'all talk about hunting one more time, I'm gonna throw up. I think people missed the point of it with my unfortunate phrasing.
And all the reporters sitting on the front row raced to the payphones.
And there I was on the receiving end, that here I had appointed this totally insane woman. Well, Ann Richards once said too late, she learned that nothing is funny when you see it in print. Terry Hershey did a fabulous job for the people of Texas, for our heritage, for the future that our children will enjoy in this state, because she was a woman who cared about parks.
There's not a conservation organization in Texas that can't say Terry Hershey and the Terry and Jake Hershey Foundation wasn't a part of who they are today.
Many of those organizations that she helped found are the bedrock of the conservation movement today.
You can look along all of the greenways and bayous in the city. The fact that the city just passed an extraordinary ballot initiative to help protect and expand greenway conservation and greenway-based recreation in the city is in no small part to the legacy that Terry has left that city.
So soon we're history, so we have to seize the moment.
Terry Hershey, a force of nature and a force for nature.